Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sheree Nuez, and I'm from the California Department of Veteran Affairs with CalTAP, and I'm a training coordinator. Today is March 13th, and it was the Women and Minority Veteran Support Services and Resources webinar. So, little introductions for today. Myself and then my colleague Michael Cisneros will be presenting alongside our presenters, Jose Ayon from our Minorities and Underrepresented Veterans Division, as well as Adriana Griffin from our Women Veterans Division, and then also our San Diego Link or Local Interagency Network Coordinator, Lance Unker, will be joining us as well. So just let you know, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and your consent is required. Participation in the meeting will act as your acknowledgement for the recording. Just a reminder for you that your camera and microphone capabilities are off. This is really to maximize our bandwidth and make sure that we can present to you as best as possible. Also, please keep in touch with us by providing your non-DoD email in the chat or actually in the Q&A portion. So for those of you that are not familiar with Zoom, at the bottom of your screen, if you hover, a menu should appear. You can open the chat function there. Michael, my colleague, he will be dropping resources in there. And then there's also a Q&A portion. Go ahead and click on that. And you could submit any questions that you'd like to ask myself or any of the presenters during this presentation. All right, without further ado, we'll get started. But I also would like to say a special thank you to our partners for today. So the Veterans Resources Centers over at Cuyamaca College, as well as Ventura College. Thank you. So a little information is, what is CalTAP? So CalTAP is actually, let's go ahead and expand on that, is the Transition Assistance Program. This program is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to your earned federal and state benefits, as well as provide continued support and assistance as your needs change over time through 5 pathways. So I'm going to emphasize as your needs change over time, because your needs today might be different a year from now, or even 2 years from now. You might be ready to, say, buy a home, or you might want to rethink about and refile a claim. So those are the different things that we can assist you with. Or for some, re-pursue your education. Say you have a little bit more education left. How can you best utilize and take advantage of that? So our 5 pathways are the core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship, and service providers. To kind of give you a grander scheme of what CalTAP does, this is our version of a veteran journey map. Essentially, it is from the beginning of your service as far as joining, then living post-military life, so as you separate, and what that's like. So essentially redefining yourself as a civilian and transitioning to the civilian world in self-care and career building, and then life sustaining. And then again, as we age enters the transition into that retirement and aging, CalVet and CalTAP is here for you. What we have right here is our Veterans Resource Book. My colleague Michael will be dropping a PDF version in the chat here for you. Essentially, this is a tool that's in here for you to enlighten, educate, and empower you, and inform you, most importantly, of all the benefits that you might be eligible for here within California. This is our CalVet website. The webpage to that is calvet.ca.gov. We provide a wealth of knowledge, and if anything, you can access 24/7. So essentially, we have a couple of different things we'd like to highlight here. In the red circle with the laptop, it says CalTAP. That will take you to our landing page. The next little circle down below would be find your local CVSO. So depending on what county you're in, if you want to visit someone in person, you can click on that and you can select the county that you wish. Or if you're joining us from a different location, you can input the zip code of where you are, and you can locate the County Veteran Service office closest to you. And then lastly, the final little red circle there is another opportunity for you to download the Veterans Resource Book. So what are my California benefits? We're just going to go over a little bit of the few here, some of the most popular ones that are commonly filed with us or asked of us. So we have the California College Tuition Fee Waiver. That, just to let you know, is a dependent benefit. And basically, any veteran dependent, if the veteran has a 0 to 100% service connected disability rating, can attend at no cost any UC, state, or community college. So it's a wonderful benefit for dependents to take advantage of education here within California. You can also, with the Department of Motor Vehicles, potentially apply for a veteran designation on your driver's license. You also may be eligible for a registration fee waiver for one of your vehicles. Essentially, you do have to be 100% service connected disabled, and there has to be a mobility disability attached to that as well. But more information can be located on the DMV website. For those of you that enjoy the great outdoors, we have reduced fishing and hunting license, as well as a no-cost state parks pass. And then for any of our entrepreneurs and or property owners, you could be eligible for property tax exemptions. We like to encourage people to visit your county assessor's office in which you own property and or are seeking to open your business, or your business is already located. Visit them to see what you might be eligible for as far as a exemption. And then to the right-hand side of these lovely bullet points here is the breakdown of CalVet and the other divisions that it's composed of. We do have a wonderful CalVet home loans program, and they also provide home insurance, which for most of you are aware, there's been a lot of insurers that have been leaving California. CalVet provides a great insurance program. Additionally, there's a lot of people, they can walk you through the whole home loans process. And CalVet does serve as your lender. It is different from the VA home loan, as the VA home loan is a guarantee. For more information, you can visit any of the links that Michael's dropping in the chats. We do have the women veteran resources and minority veteran resources that will be shared with you. So we just wanted to just include them here, but we have special segments for you here shortly. We do have Veteran Homes of California. We have 7 across the state. And then also to commemorate service, we do have our veteran cemeteries and burials. All right, so not to belabor the point and also just get to the meat and potatoes of our presentation, this is a quick little continued support option for all of you. As you can see, we have all our socials listed there with the QR codes in the right corner. One to reach CalVet, the other one for our Instagram, as well as our YouTube. I would like to highlight our YouTube as there's a lot of pre-recorded webinars. So if any topics of the various benefits that I just reviewed interest you or pique your interest, visit our YouTube for any number of the webinars there that you might be able to watch at no cost. Also, please register for My CalVet as we can keep in touch with you and inform you for upcoming webinars like this one right now. Find us on the social media. And then also the bottom right QR code is to fill out our webinar survey. We will have an opportunity at the conclusion of our survey to complete, or conclusion of our webinar to complete that survey, but just wanted to share that opportunity with you here. This is my contact information. If you wish to follow up with me or have any additional questions, be happy to answer them. But without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Lance Unker, who is our local interagency network coordinator from San Diego. Lance, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll just be quick today so that we can get to our other presenters. But I am one of 8 links here in California that work for CalVet. And you'll see at the next slide, we have 8 different regions. These are based off of the FEMA disaster relief zones, roughly broken down by population. But you can see they're all different in size and in what is available in those regions. So each of us get to know our regions as well as we possibly can. We get to know all the veteran service providers. We get to know all of the nonprofits and government agencies and county agencies and all that kind of stuff. We develop relationships with like the directors of the VBA and VHA down here, as well as the County Veteran Service Office. And really, we're just another resource that you have here in California. No matter where you end up in California, you will have a link who understands that region. So always reach out to them. Use us, as a great, conduit or link or bridge to, your benefits in that specific region. The next slide will show you just kind of a little bit what I talked about. We're always providing outreach to service members, veterans, and their families. We are making referrals every day, whether it's a veteran to a certain program or organization, or whether it's even helping service providers and organizations get more plugged in. We also assist with local emergencies. So when there was the floods down here, fires, we go out to the local assistance centers when asked, and to the FEMA disaster relief or recovery centers. And we provide assistance to veterans who've been, displaced or impacted by those emergencies. And then, depending on the region and what is needed of us, we may provide leadership and advocacy in the communities. Next slide. Some of the other ways that we can help you connect to your benefits locally, whether you're having issues getting a hold of other departments like EDD or America's Job Centers, VA, County Veteran Service Office, even on your campuses. If you need us, we can help you get plugged in. We have relationships with a lot of these partners, and we're able to just help you out if you're having issues not getting an appointment or getting the right care or whatever it is. We can plug you in. And then also thinking outside of the box, whether it's an archery or hiking or gardening, there's groups for just about anything that you might be interested in serving veterans, active duty, and their families. Next slide. This is going to be my contact information. And if you end up moving out of this region to another part, I can do a warm handoff to the link there, who's going to know that region better. But yes, feel free to text, call, email. And if you have any needs, I'm kind of your local rep for Calvet. All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lance. We greatly appreciate the information there. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Adriana Griffin from the Women Veteran Affairs Division. She is the division manager over there. Adriana. Fantastic.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Cherie, for the introduction. Yes, so Women Veterans Affairs at Calvet, we are currently in the process of growing our team. We support the Deputy Secretary for Women Veterans Affairs, Virginia Wimmer, who is appointed by the governor, and she's been in the position about 2.5 years now. Next slide, please. So we are here to provide representation. We complement and supplement what CalTAP and Veteran Services Division provide, as well as all of our other outreach affiliates at Calvet. We do provide specific information, advocacy, outreach, and support to women veterans and their families. Next slide, please. And why have a women veteran specific division? So we currently make up 10% of all veterans nationwide, and that number is very similar in California. So in the state of California, we have right at about 160,000 women veterans. We currently have 32,000 women still in uniform and active guard and reserve. And so being that we constantly hit right at that 10% mark, most programs, services, policies, have been focused on that 90% as they were being created. Makes sense? The math, works in that. What has happened is, as an underrepresented group, women have, as we are becoming the largest cohort of veterans as we leave the service, because in service, we make up right under 20% of women in uniform. And so as we are the fastest growing cohort of veterans exiting at all stages and ages and phases of life, we bring with us our unique needs. Please, next slide. So during service, it is documented that we will suffer from at a higher level of certain diseases, arthritis, cancer, cardiovascular, COPD, and reproductive health does get impacted. We do see a lot of reduced fertility or fertility challenges in women veterans. There are programs while you're active duty, and right now the policies are ever changing for fertility care for women veterans outside of once we've left the service. Mental health challenges, the reporting continues to increase. However, I would say some of the issues that can be exasperated or even initiated from service will follow into veteran status. And as they're documenting more and more things that are unique to women's health, you'll see statistics climbing when they do the rates of impact as far as the medical issues, diseases, disorders, but also as they're adjusting the rates for suicide when they're looking at it just in an adjusted way. We are 2.2 times more apt to completing suicide rather than our non-veteran counterparts. Next slide, please. Some of these exasperated issues can come from unique challenges during our military service. So there are the physical demands of service. A lot of times, the equipment that we were assigned, the duties that we're assigned, the equipment is not designed for women. Therefore, we make do with a heavier or a body contour design that was just not natural to the woman's physique. And so as the body is adjusting, you are more apt to back issues, neck issues. That's where the arthritic issues and other orthopedic issues come into play. The exposure to traumatic events, as reporting will show, not only traumatic events from combat, but the higher numbers reported for women experiencing different sexual harassment, sexual assault, just military sexual trauma in general. The numbers are there, and the policies and processes have once again been ever changing, especially in the last 10 to 20 years, as to how we address those issues. How do we recognize and identify those issues? The rigorous deployment and PCS schedules, and that's a norm for all military, getting your circadian rhythm in check or regulated from travel to extreme distances, time zones, adjusting to that. As you adjust in PCS, they say that within the first 180 days, that is when a woman is the most susceptible to assault. There are the gender norms and attitudes. So here's where some of the mental health issues come into play. And we've made some strides, but we still have many more steps to go in that our gender norms being assigned to a unit that has very little to no women. Sometimes there are no restrooms for women in certain units, still happening in modern times, at least in the last 5 years. Or being assigned somewhere as a woman and being expected that you're going to be the person who takes notes, you're going to be the person who cleans up, you're going to be the person who decorates. So kind of fighting against these norms and just wanting to be recognized as a fellow sister at arms in uniform right next to our brothers at arms. That goes right into the military culture and attitudes. Same thing. Historically, you will see pictures of veterans that may not represent what the actual population of our active duty and veteran population look like. the, we call them the, the pictures that are pre-made, the stock photos. Typically, a veteran is portrayed as an older gentleman wearing his I'm a veteran hat or his specific branch hat. And women veterans may not want to wear those baseball caps everywhere, or the t-shirts, or have the bumper stickers. And when we do have the bumper stickers, due to military cultures and attitudes, we still might be questioned as to what branch did our husband serve in. As we're calling for medical appointments, lived experience here. I've been asked multiple times on a phone call when they used to ask us for the service members' Social Security or my sponsor's Social Security last four. And I would continue to give them mine, and they'd say, I need your sponsors. Until I had to explain, I am the sponsor. So that's, and then as we're transitioning out, a lot of women do not identify as veterans, either because of the time period they served. I've met Vietnam veterans who said, I was just a pencil pusher. And I said, ma'am, in today's military, there are men who work administrative functions, and they are veterans. So you are a veteran as well. A lot of times, if you spent most of your time in service proving that you belong to be there, you don't want to get out of the military and prove to the VA that you deserve to be there and that you deserve benefits. So that is definitely a challenge that we face, especially from a division such as ours, where we want to connect our women veterans with all of their benefits and everything they've earned working side by side with our brothers at arms. Lack of recognition can come from the same perspective. If that high achieving service member or that veteran who goes to EDD is a woman and is, let's say, a man is offered veteran programs, a woman may not be offered veteran programs. If she's asked if she's a veteran, she may not acknowledge that and she may say no. But we try to normalize asking women, have they served? When we ask women, have they served, the narrative changes and we do get positive responses where we may have gotten a negative response. Next slide, please. So going right into this slide, how do we support women veterans? I always tell people, never assume that the woman you're speaking to is a spouse. If you're at a veteran event, I always assume that the woman I'm speaking to is a veteran unless she corrects me. Otherwise, just the same way I would do for a man, a male who is at an event, I would ask them if they were, I would not ask them if they were a veteran. I'm assuming you're a veteran until you tell me you're not. Education and understanding. We try to open the platform so that women veterans can tell their story. The more I share my lived experience as a veteran, the more that my fellow brothers in arms and fellow brother veterans put it all together and realize the need for the allyship, why we need to have those brothers at arms that said, I've served next to women, and there was no difference in the quality of work or quantity of work. So the more we are able to share our story, the more people realize the microaggressions that have been faced, the sometimes straight up discriminatory actions. We've had women veterans who were awarded honors and medals, and then they were retracted, and then they had to fight to get that recognition back. So one thing that we strive to do here at CalVet Women Veterans Division is we do try to share all resources available in the state of California that are specific to women veterans, whether they are nonprofit groups, collectives and collaboratives at county level or regional levels. We try to make those connections. We try to advertise it on our resources page. Right off the CalVet website, you go under programs, you'll see CalVet Women Veterans. And then in there, you'll see a additional page that leads to a resource page. Most of them have women-specific programs or women veteran-specific programs. And going back to that 10% rule and why we are here, representation matters. And California Military Code found that to be significant enough that they wrote in the position for the Deputy Secretary for Women Veterans for the state of California. Next slide, please. So through feedback, through attending monthly meetings throughout the state of California with these collectives and these collaboratives and collaborating with nonprofits, we are able to collect information. Also through our current running survey, we have a Calvet Women Veterans Survey. As we collect data from our women veterans throughout the state of California, this allows us to develop trainings, webinars that are specific to women veterans. It allows us to share information through our women veterans roster, and it allows us to provide guidance, warm handoffs, whether it be through the local links and programs that they're familiar with specific to women veterans. Sometimes it does not have to be a women veteran specific program, just the women veteran feels more comfortable reaching out through our division, and we do those warm handoffs to whether it's the CVSOs, the links, or whatever the organization or agency that needs to be handed off to. And so this, by collecting this data, it does help us create the comprehensive list, the resources that are available on our page, the Women Veterans roster, and just as we continue to explore and discover collaboratives and collectives throughout different counties in California, then we get to attend and connect to for future collaboration with organizations. Next slide. So these are our upcoming and ongoing events. Traditionally, for over 10 years, California, the California governor proclaims the third week of March as Military Women's History Week, or Women's Military History Week. I will correct that. And that is this year will be March 17th through the 23rd. This occurs during the month of Women's History Month, and that is why we select the third week in March. I believe that California is one of the few states that currently has that recognition for women's military history. We have been, I mentioned the survey, and this has been ongoing since February. So we have been marketing, whether it's through our roster, in-person events, email campaigns. We are marketing this survey. So I ask that all my women veterans take the survey. There will be a QR code in the upcoming slide. And if you know a woman veteran, which I know everyone in this room probably knows a women veteran, please share the information in the upcoming slide with them. They can also access the information on the slide by visiting our webpage. There's a box that will lead to learn more about the survey. It'll give you more information about the survey, the history behind it, and what types of questions it will ask, and how we got to the point to provide a very secure and convenient link that allows you to time out, walk away, or even forget about it and come back and pick up where you left off on the survey. We will be opening our nomination period for the Calvet Trailblazer Award, and that will begin in April. We will probably run that through towards the end of May for a reception of some type to be held in June in conjunction with Women Veterans Recognition Day on June 12th. And there's more information about the reception there where we will have that Trailblazer Award ceremony. Next slide, please. So this is what our landing page looks like on the top. The flyer on the bottom left, my left, hopefully your left. I am not invisible. Let your voice be heard. Take the survey. So this is our flyer, one of our many flyers or marketing materials for our survey. And the QR code on the right will take you directly to an MS form where you will provide your name and email to request your California Women Veterans Survey link. I'm going to pause there for anyone who is currently taking a photo of that QR code. This helps you cut out the steps of going to our webpage and allows you to immediately send me the request. I worked at MS Form. I get an Excel, it produces an Excel. I will drop a link that is unique to you and email it to the email address that you provide on that form. Next slide, please. This is our Women Veterans roster. If you choose to take the survey during the roster, you will be asked if you would like to be added to the roster, so you'll have an opportunity there as well. If you choose not to take the survey or only want to register for our roster and receive communication from us, which will have updates on what's happening at Calvet Women Veterans Division. It will also is where we share flyers where these collaboratives, collectives, nonprofits, when they're doing events, free resources, classes, gatherings, social gatherings, they share their flyers with us and we try to blast it out through this roster as well. So this is just an information newsletter and updates. That's what this roster will get you on. Next slide. And we want to hear your story. So to all my women veterans in the room, we do want to hear your story. Like I said, the more we share our story, the more all of our brothers and sisters in uniform can understand what our experience, what our lived experience as an individual has been like. Our positive experiences, how we benefited from our service, some of our challenges, some opportunities where we could share this kind of information and just support and lift each other up. So we have what's called California Women Voices. And on our website, you will find a link to these pages. Next slide, please. And this is the application process to submit a Women Voices. We'll coordinate to do a video, an interview, and we'll get your information. So there's a link there to get more information on the Women Voices video. The QR code should lead to this application as well. Just giving a second or two for anyone who may be capturing that QR code. Next slide, please. This is our contact information. Deputy Secretary Wimmer, she will take emails directly. If you choose to reach out to her directly, you have any feedback, you have any requests. I am the manager, Adriana Griffin. My information is there. Our newest colleague, our program analyst, Miss Pamela Plamondon. And if you just want to email our organizational box, which guarantees that it will be viewed daily. This is our women veterans at calvet.ca.gov. You can reach us. You can join us on our Facebook page. There's a QR code there. And we share resources on our Instagram as well. Thank you very much. I'll be handing it back over to Cherie, I believe. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Adriana. Thank you so much for all the great information that you shared. I know I still have the contact information here, but we do have another slide at the end for all the comprehensive outreach methods for those that want to get in touch with Adriana. But without further ado, I'd like to transition over to Jose Ayon from our Minority and Underrepresented Veterans Division to go ahead and share information and resources that your division has.
Thank you so much, Cherie. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Jose Ayon. A little bit about myself. I've been with the department for 5 years now. Definitely honored to serve our veterans, our minority veterans, and all veterans as a whole that reaches out to us. Definitely difficult to follow Miss Adriana. She's a little modest. She's a retired first sergeant, so she's the backbone of that division, and they're doing amazing work down at the Women Veterans Division. So we're definitely an ally, and we definitely also bring a little piece to the fight as well. So with that being said, we can get going. Next slide. So starting off with our vision and mission of our division started around 2013, and the vision overall is to ensure that all veterans have equal access to their benefits, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, or sexual orientation. We do this through our mission, again, by promoting the uses of state and federal benefits, programs, and services. We advocate on behalf of our veteran by identifying gaps in services or barriers to access. This is working with other stakeholders, other departments, universities, institutions of that sort, and just making sure that they have a voice and we can support them in any way possible with information, with support, you name it. We definitely want to be there for you. We want to be there for our veterans. In addition to that, we lead initiatives that educate the public. Here today, we're doing an educational, informational webinar. So these are one of the ways that we do our business, different webinars, different outreach opportunities that we go out there in the community. If we get invited or we do our own events, that's how we normally try to get the word out and just, again, just promote benefits and services that veterans have earned through their time of service. Next slide. So a quick agenda of what I'll be covering today. With the overview, we'll briefly touch on just facts and demographics, different numbers around the state of California as to why this division exists within Calvet, the assistance that we provide that you can expect from us. The next 3 bullet points are the programs that we oversee, starting with the Pathway to Citizenship program, Tribal Veterans Outreach, our LGBTQ inclusion program, future initiatives that our Deputy Secretary envisions for our division, and our minority roster, just one way for our veterans to get in touch with us and just stay informed and stay in the loop as to what we're doing in the community and just the information that we have available. And lastly, just contact information. We definitely want to make sure that you have our information in order to better serve you. We have a 24, 48-hour turnaround. So if you reach out to me directly or my colleagues, we definitely want to provide that information and get back to you. That way we acknowledge that you have reached out to us and that the information is coming. And then on the right, my right, a couple of high-speed pictures that we have done throughout the years, from meeting with different stakeholders at the state level to parades to workshops, you name it. I think we've done a little bit of everything, and the pictures here definitely depict that. Next slide. Again, starting off with quick facts as to why our division exists within the California Department of Veteran Affairs. Starting off with, out of the 1.6 million California veterans, 47% identify as minority or underserved veterans. So this is huge for us, right? Half of the population identifies for minorities as minorities, and we definitely want to be there and provide services, provide programs that align with their needs. If we break down the analytics a little further, we see that California is also home to nearly 20,000 Native American veterans. That's the largest in the United States and 3 times the number of Native American veterans compared to other states, right? So the why do we exist? Why do we do tribal affairs and outreach? Because the numbers are there behind it, and we definitely want to make sure that we serve our tribal veterans. In addition to that, the state of California also holds the highest population of LGBTQ veterans. Within our LGBTQ veteran population, we see the disconnect for the benefits and services. Obviously, the stigma, the policies that were in place prior to our current presidential situation. There was things that definitely made them not want to serve or want to stay in the shadows. So we definitely started an inclusion program just to be that voice and that advocacy for our LGBTQ veterans. And lastly, California also the first state department to develop a citizenship program for veterans and their families. We definitely are also the first state to address deported veterans that reside in different countries. So we definitely do a little bit of everything, and just a quick snapshot of the numbers, right? Next slide. Again, just breaking down a little bit further the numbers as far as the analytics of this 47% of the population. We see that Hispanic veterans, Latinos, Latinx are up there in numbers. Asian American, Black or African American as well. So the numbers there for each demographic is just growing, right? So the population of veterans in California is decreasing, but the minority population alongside the women veterans population are increasing within our demographic. So again, just something to keep in mind, and also something to definitely continue to move forward, something that we want to just implement different programs, different initiatives to better serve these demographics. Next slide. So starting off with our first program, this program was launched in 2018, our CalVet Pathway to Citizenship program. We launched this with the governor's office, in addition to the California Department of Social Services and various community immigration services, over 150 service provider, I should say, provide this type of support to our veterans, which is essentially free service to veterans and their dependents. They provide free legal consultation at no cost to the veteran, which ensures them expedited naturalization, or at least that process to be expedited due to their time of service, due to their veteran status. Since 2018, we have conducted over 16 workshops all through the state of California, from San Diego to Sacramento, the Central Valley. We've been in various locations. We also do webinars, so we can obviously reach the masses. And of course, it's also a referral base, so not just the workshops and the referrals, or the workshops or the webinars, I should say. We also refer our veterans to those legal service providers. So if you reach out to us indicating that you live in the Los Angeles County, we can refer you to the different legal service providers in the LA area that provide the free legal consultation. So it's just a matter of reaching out to them. And of course, we can also do the warm handoff to ensure that the veteran is being served. And of course, some of the federal legislation that makes this possible also listed in the bottom, with our Veterans Pathway to Citizenship Act of 2021 and our Deportation Prevention Reform Act also in 2021 as well. Next slide. Again, mentioning our tribal affairs, our advocacy for our Native American veterans. In the state of California, we have 109 federally recognized tribes that reside here in California. So that's a big number compared to other states. And there's a lot of veterans all throughout these different tribes. Again, as mentioned, over 20,000. So we definitely do our very best to provide that support to our veterans through just referrals, to education, through advocacy as well. One of the big events or initiatives that we did during the pandemic was we coordinated with Cal OES during COVID, and we were able to provide over 10,000 masks to California tribes all over California. So that was a big push for us, and definitely like to highlight that as much as possible, because it was definitely different departments working together to better serve veterans throughout these different tribes. Listed in the bottom, we see different events that we have attended in the past. Our Tribal Nations Conference, hosted by the Governor's Office. We just did a new initiative to reach out to our northern and rural California tribes as well. So that's a big push for us, in addition to just outreaching pertaining to VA benefits and programs for Native American veterans. And lastly, we collaborate with the VA Advisory Committee on Tribal and Indian Affairs, and together we put together our California Native American Day that's here in Sacramento at the Capitol Park. This year will be our 57th anniversary being part of this initiative. So it's definitely one of our bigger events that pretty much keeps us busy for the entire year, as far as just being part of that planning committee. Next slide. Lastly, as we mentioned, our veteran inclusion program, CalVet, not just our division, believes in building support for LGBTQ veterans and their families that promote resilience in the face of challenges. Throughout the years, or since we spearheaded this particular program, we have conducted various webinars, events, forums to just inform and to educate the masses, and also to just be there to advocate for our LGBTQ veteran, if it's with discharge upgrades or just information to how to file a claim. We have done that since 2014, and we're gearing up towards our Pride Month in June, so we'll definitely be out there in the community not just in June, but throughout the year, as far as just supporting our LGBTQ veterans. Next slide. Future initiatives, as we mentioned before, we definitely want to just do civic engagement for our veteran community. That's something big for our Deputy Secretary, Xochitl Rodriguez Murillo. So she's definitely keeping that in mind. So again, just keep an eye out for that. I think there's a lot of good opportunities there for our veterans, not just residing here in Sacramento where we're located at, but throughout the state of California. We definitely want to keep everyone in the loop regarding that particular initiative. As we mentioned, we have done a lot of outreach or have started outreaching towards our Northern and rural California veterans. We created a collaborative last year in order to bring different stakeholders, different veteran organizations together to inform on what we can do better to support our rural and Northern California veterans. So that's something that's ongoing, and definitely excited to keep that momentum going. Making information accessible, we were running into veterans that indicated that our website was not user-friendly. We did not provide enough information. So we definitely try to keep that updated as much as possible with events, with information, you name it. So that's a revamp initiative that we also started that we want to continue as well. We have it as done, but it's always ongoing because we definitely just want to provide adequate information for everyone. And different legislation that we are keeping a close eye out is AB 1994, which strengthens representation in state government of minority and underrepresented veterans. The bill adds the Deputy Secretary of Minority and Underrepresented Veteran Affairs to those deputies who are appointed are specified in statute. So again, just solidifying our particular division within legislation. So that's a big push that we are definitely keeping an eye out for, and also just drafting our very first tribal consultation policy within our department as well. So those are two things that we're excited about and also been a part of. So we definitely wanted to share that with our veterans here today. Next slide. Lastly, similar to our Women Veterans Division, we also launched a minority and underrepresented veterans roster in 2020. We just needed to find new ways to connect with our veterans during the pandemic. And this is one of the ways that we ensure information distribution and for just advocacy remotely as well. So again, once you sign up for this roster, you'll get information on what our division is currently doing, different information that we push out throughout the state of California. If it's collaborative, if it's events that benefit our groups, we'll definitely push that out through our newsletter. And since the inception of this, we have over 12,000 registrants to our roster. So please, we push this out on the group chat. So please register, push it out to your battle buddy, to any veteran supporter. We just definitely want to make sure that we provide as much as information to those that will benefit from it. I'll pause there. I know that folks might want to screenshot it or just take a quick picture of. Again, we'll make sure to push that information out on our group chat, our chat feature. So again, please push that information out as you see fit. Next slide. How to get a hold of us. This is our contact information from our minority veterans email. This is monitored from all three of our team members with our deputy secretary as well. So someone is monitoring this email every day. Again, we have a 48-hour policy that we acknowledge your email and that we provide the information that is needed. Our phone line as well, that is monitored by our team members. Please feel free to note that down as well. Our website as well. We have a Facebook. We also push out information through our social media. So again, just a good way to stay informed and to stay in connection with us as well. Our team is also growing. We have our office technician, Ms. Christina Salazar. She does a great job just doing the admin behind the scenes work for our team. Mr. Ricky Powell, one of our program analysts, Army veteran. Again, also very passionate about the work that we do here. So again, if you can't get a hold of me, either one of my team members will definitely provide that information that is required and needed. Next slide. Lastly, our deputy secretary is also open to getting emails directly towards her. If you want to reach out to her directly, she's available, always open to support our veterans as well. So please jot that down as well, her phone number along with her email as well. We're open, our team is open and very passionate of the work that we do, and we want to make ourselves available as much as possible as well. Next slide. Team, that is it. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much. Cherie, I'll push it back to you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jose, for the great information that you provided, and as well to Adriana. That does conclude the material right now, but we do have a Q&A portion. But before we get to that, we do have a brief survey for CalTAP in regards to the webinar that we provided to you today and the information. We'd just like to take 2 minutes of your time if you would kindly scan the QR code on your on the screen right now for you. I will start the timer here, and we'll give you an opportunity to have 2 minutes to just quickly complete our little survey here. I know some folks are completing the survey, and we greatly appreciate you taking that time. If you have any questions that you might want to think of, and those that are joining us virtually, feel free to drop any in the Q&A channel in the chat there, or the panel. I know Michael's been answering a few on the back end as the presentation has slowly been rolling. And thank you to Michael to completing those. We greatly appreciate it. But again, invite anyone to drop in a question there. In addition to that, if you are at a VRC, special thank you to Cuyamaca College and Ventura College for joining us today and in partnership with us. Feel free to open your chat or your Q&A and drop in some questions for any of us to answer. Thank you again, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our contact page here. It has all those that presented today, our information. The phone numbers that are listed for Adriana and Jose, those are the general lines. So anyone of their counterparts or them might be the ones to answer your call. And then also just opportunity to reach out to myself or even Lance, who joined us earlier, for those of you in the San Diego region, and then Michael as well. But I'll turn it over to Michael if we have any other questions in the chat that we want to go to.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Cherie. Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to go over some of the questions that did come through. I took the liberty of answering a couple of them. I did get some help from Adriana on one of them. So I'm just going to bring them up. If you are looking for one-on-one help with either one of the training coordinators or analysts from either divisions, feel free to reach out to either one of us. Our contact information is on the slide right in front of you. I know I check my inbox daily. Cherie does as well. So if we can't help you out, we could definitely direct you to somebody who can. So yeah, definitely take the time to reach out if you need one-on-one help. These questions that we're going through right now, we're hoping that we can get them to be a little bit more general. So yeah, if you do have personal questions, feel free to reach out. With this recording of the video, we are going to be posting it on our archives page. It could take up to 2 weeks before you do see the video posted. So just keep following along on using that link in the Q&A section. You guys should be able to see the answered questions. I did post a link to the archives page there as well as in the chat. So feel free to go through and use that to find any other resources that you need, and also to find a recording of this in the near future. We had another recommendation from one of our attendees. Adriana was able to answer that question. What I want to say about this is if you do have any recommendations, or you want to see something happening with women veterans, or even with minority veterans, use the survey that I posted in the chat. They had given me links, so you can find a link to the Women Veterans Survey, as well as the MUV roster. So feel free to use those to reach out to those divisions and let them know, what your questions and concerns are, and they'd be able to help you out with that. And I'll go ahead and actually post those links one more time, just so you guys can have them up front. I did post information about the Calvet home loans. There is a individual in the Calvet home loans division that we work with on a regular basis with CalTAP. His name is Brad Pedersen. I put his information in the chat, and I also put it in the questions and answers section. I definitely would recommend reaching out to Brad. Brad has so much information about the Calvet Home Loans program, as well as information about local resources that might actually help you out as well. And so if you get a chance and you're in the market, or if you just want information about the program, feel free to email him or call him directly. He does take cold calls. He's super, super helpful. So feel free to use that information. The last question is going to be about entrepreneurship. This person is asking about resources to fund small businesses that are veteran specific. And Cherie, I see, is typing an answer, so I'll let her finish that as well. But I do want to say, this question it's going to depend on what kind of business you're going to open. Unfortunately, there's not really much out there that's veteran specific that helps veterans fund their businesses, but you can definitely find resources out there, like resources through the Small Business Administration or even the grants portal, that can help you fund those goals. So for that individual, if you want to reach out to either me or Cherie, we could definitely direct you to somebody with our DVBE division who could answer more of those questions, and also provide you with more resources that might actually help you out, that are more specific. The information is there assistance if you want to open up a tax preparation planning business. Again, that would be something that you probably wouldn't find anything that's veteran specific, but there are definitely resources out there, specifically mentorships if you're looking for that. There's new business checklists that you can find online as well to help you prepare and open the business. But funding and that probably would have to we could definitely direct you to somebody in our DVBE division who can find direct funding, maybe, or answer those questions. Is there a direct link to the Women Veterans Survey? The link you sent in the chat is a PDF, and I'm unable to save it. Adriana, is there a direct link to the survey? Oh, that's right, because the what I sent in the chat was a flyer.
Correct. What we have is a link to request the survey, and if I can drop that to everybody. I actually did a link straight to the MS form.
Perfect.
And if you provide your name, it's going to ask for your first name, last name, email address, how you heard about the survey. I believe one of the options is Calvet in general. So if you will choose to select that, we would appreciate that. And that will take you directly to the form. This is where I will collect the information, and personally send you an email to the email you provide with your own unique link to take the survey.
Great. All right. Well, and with that, it looks like we read the last question, and we are at the 1 o'clock hour. So I'll go ahead and pass it on back to Cherie to close us out, and give us any last bit of information that we need. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Greatly appreciate that. Just quickly at the end here, upcoming webinars. Also, really special thanks before I go over this to Jose and Adriana, and also Pamela for joining us from the Women's Veterans Division, as well as the Minorities and Underrepresented Veterans Division. Thank you so much for sharing so much of the information and resources and advocacy, most importantly, that each of you provide. And I'm happy to call you as one of my colleagues and work alongside you, and also play on the basketball court. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go let you all know about upcoming webinars that CalTAP has. I know one just passed, which is the Disability Claims and Appeals. Just noted that on there, as we do have a recording for that. So for those of you that are interested, there is a recording online. On the 21st, which is next week, we have a Building Financial Self-Sufficiency for Veterans with STEP. It's a fantastic program based out of Southern California and expanding further north. We also have on the 27th resume writing and interview techniques. And then as well, at the end of the month, we have a women veterans support and resources webinar. And again, thank you so much for your service. These are our socials. This is the best way to reach out. And lastly, and most importantly, if you have anyone that's in crisis, or you know anyone that might need help, whether that be a veteran or non-veteran, or even a family member, you can call the crisis line right there. It is open to all. Dial 988 if you need. We just have that on all our slides just to put that out there for everybody to support is there for you. But again, thank you all for joining us today and have a wonderful rest of your day.